Great, then hello everybody. As you might have recognized already in the background and with my nice interview partner, I'm back in Prague in Bondster office. Thank you very much for your hospitality once more and the time.
Also, thank you for the introduction and for the interview. And hello to you as well.
I think we will cover definitely interesting topics as an investor. So I'm also very curious about your answers again, because it's always good to catch up. But I think we'll skip the introduction this time because we already recorded 2 interviews. 1 year ago in Vienna, you came to us together with my friend Angelo, and then another one 2 years ago here in the office. So yeah, you can find the links to that in the description. And now we dive directly into the hottest topics of Bondster and the industry I would consider. Pavel, maybe let's start with the financials of Bondster platform itself, because I got some questions from the audience about that, some worries also. We had a lot of experiences in different B2B platforms. Is Bondster profitable, and what can we expect in the near future regarding financials? What's the plan? And also, can we be sure that the platform will not be closed or sold? Yeah, because if the owner changes, everything can change. We saw it, for example, on Movento.
Okay. It will probably be a little bit longer answer because it covers a lot of topics around. Well, I would start that with the growth, which was before COVID, then we would be definitely turning profitable like 2021, like mid 2021. But as a COVID strikes, we had some stagnation. We didn't grew that fast and so on. But definitely in last half of a year, so last 6 months, we didn't need any money from outside, from our financial group. So the revenues were high enough to cover all the costs. But I have to say that we will maybe touch this topic later. We are in front of some huge investments, more into some structural changes in the system and so on. That will, of course, need again some money from outside. So we will probably turn to the red numbers. But of course, the situation we are right now in shows us that we can be sustainable. That's one part of your question. Second was about the owner. We are not, as far as I know, in any process of being sold or searching for someone to buy Bondster. In the past, we were searching for some strategic partners, so we didn't look for financial ones. So I will cover it in the third part of my answer. But we were searching for some strategic partners. So, for example, who can give us a bigger brand, who can help us with that, or who has some portfolio of investors so we can grow faster, or things like this. So we were searching for this kind of partner, but only to have a minor part of equity or some other partnership. So not selling the company at the time. It was not any idea, I know. And to the stability, I can say that as we are a part of a financial group where also Acema, one of the providers on the platform, is, and Acema is the strongest company in the group. Acema has like 1.7 billion crowns in loan on books, which is it's like nearly 80 million euros of provided loans. And when you check the financial statements, there is nearly 50% of own funds of the company. Also, Bondster is like 15% of the funding there. So I think we are a pretty strong financial group where when we are talking about costs of Bondster, it's like a completely minority of what our financial group is having with other companies. And also, I can probably tell this kind of thing that I know that Bondster is a baby of our shareholder, so I don't think that something of what you asked will happen. We went through COVID; it was not easy. We went through Russian-Ukrainian impact on the economics in our country, and we're still here, like in our 6th year of Bondster. So in this long answer, I can say that I don't have worries in these kind of things. I don't see these as a potential risk. If there is no kind of like externality, like was global pandemics for 5 years or something like that. But I think that the investors will probably have to solve different problems that than will be Bondster. So.
Okay, great. It's always a spontaneous interview as well, so it might get longer, but the reason is because I'm also interested myself in everything, so I might ask follow-up questions, which is not prepared. But I make timestamps so you can move to the parts that are interesting if you watch the videos. Okay. But first of all, maybe you can just, because it's very important, I think, name the financial group that is the holding and also the name of the beneficial owner. I think it's just good to make transparency about that. Just in one sentence,
Yeah, we already did it. It's his name.
I know.
It's just it's no problem.
Because at this point, I think it's important because we are talking about somebody, but.
It's Valeš's family, so it's Mr. Václav Valeš and Mr. Petr Valeš, like son and a father. Mr. Petr Valeš is like daily here at work. I have like almost daily meetings with him. So he's here. He's not that kind of shareholder somewhere on Bahamas or something. And to the name of financial group, these are like entities connected, but we don't have it like a financial group, Acema financial group or something like called with a brand or something. So it's companies that are connected to each other through, for example, we have our owner company is a TEP Czech private equity who is 100% owner. And the owner of it is the same that is for Acema. So it is like this. It is not like a really corporate financial group.
It's not branded. So it's just names that are working names for the construction. I understand. But it's important also to hear that because it must be registered somehow, and then you can relate. And also I wanted to relate to our last interview on this point, because at that time you have been talking about you will turn profitable in the second half, I think, of 2021. It was when we made in August 2021 the interview. So this was also the reason why I was asking about that. But
basically we did. We are in front of some big investments, which will probably like put us back into some red numbers for a certain period of time. But we know that the business model works, so that's why we also want to invest it, and it's a huge investment.
And there are also always pros and cons if the loan originator like Acema is in the same ownership as the platform, because there are also interest conflicts, for example, and also a risk if this is a big amount, a big part of the loan book. But in general, it also has pros, of course, because more controlling and so on. But we covered that already, I think, last time. Maybe you want to mention something about it?
No, but only thing where I see also some pros is that Acema can also provide some better loans for the investors and can also help the Bondster platform with some better products for the investors. So there is the help between us.
So helping. You would call it more benefits, but still you try also as your occupation as a CEO to strictly take care of the interest conflicts.
Yeah, sure, definitely, yeah, 100%. And I'm also presenting it that Atsema is funded like 10, 12, maybe 13% of their loan on books, and by the exposure limit, they can go like 35 or something like that. So there is not a big interest of Atsema to have like half of the portfolio they have to be funded by Bondster. So we are not kind of like vehicle for funding for them. It's a separate entity with the goals and with the management, with everything.
Okay, then maybe we proceed to the next question. As said, I'm also very curious because I increased my own investment a lot on Bondster in the last weeks and months. So you said you will, or currently you are investing a lot in development. So this is the reason why it might not be profitable in the next months, year, whatever. Maybe you can also tell us a time frame when you think it will again be profitable, and what features, changes, developments can we expect if they put so much money in that, as you said?
The biggest part of the development and biggest part of the funds we will invest, you will probably not recognize for first sight because it's on the back-end side. It's as the platform grows, the number of investors grows, it's multiplied by number of transactions made by day. So we are hitting some edge. So that's the first investments we are making is the structural changes, mostly some important modules like the transaction module and so on, which at this moment we are investing like few €100,000 into a great big analysis of the system, and based on this analysis there will be the time frame and also the money frame of the changes that has to be done. So it's on the back-end side, and I can say that we are talking roughly, because we have some estimations of course, we are talking roughly about €500,000 that will be invested into the structural changes on the back-end side. And during past few weeks we made a tender on the UX UI company that can give us some solution for the front end, so what you as an investor see, and we have only to put it into good time planning with the back-end changes we are doing. And once we have it, we will go for a new front end. We will probably go mobile first solution and so on. So that's the changes we will invest as well. But our let's say biggest effort right now and the importance we see is the back-end solution.
Okay, so it's more about the software where you have to invest a lot currently, but makes sense for the development, as I understand it as an end client right now. But talking about that, I'm also curious about the back-end, front-end topic to the loan originators, because last time I was talking to Alexander Melis, IBANCAR, you know it of course, but for the audience maybe to explain it, I'm a fan of IBANCAR. I will meet Alexander next week in Malaga. The interview will also be recorded for a catch-up interview. And so my question is, he complained about the API and the connection to Bondster. Is this solved meanwhile, or
we already
still improvements to be done, or?
Yeah, what I see a problem is that we have like normal bugs. I think all the platforms have. I don't think there is something special or we are in some dangerous situation that it will collapse or something. No. What I am not satisfied with is the speed of fixing the problems. Mm-hmm. And that's why we are doing these structural changes. We already updated completely for the newest database. We can go. We did some other changes. I won't use the terms because I'm not an IT guy, so I won't use them properly. So that's why I'm not naming it. But these big changes, few of them already made, and they should, firstly, from my point of view, fix the speed of fixing any of the problems. also the API. So I don't see any problem like in general in the API, because we already have like probably 10 of our loan originators already are connected through API. It works, everything. But from my perspective, the onboarding process was pretty long, and it was longer than I have expected. And I think that from the point of view of loan originator, this can be the feeling I see. But after that, we will be able to fix things pretty fast, and then it will be easy. Because I don't think, again, we have some other bugs than other platforms.
Yeah, but I also have to mention, and we have been talking about it at the lunch before, I'm really happy with the interface. We had a lot of bugs. Yeah? I was communicating like all the time with Marketa about the issues, the bugs and everything we would like to have improved, and ideas also. But you implemented so much of it, and now from my perspective, I have to say I'm really happy. For me, honestly, seriously, it's the best platform I experience currently on the P2P market. But I'm not invested in all platforms, so I cannot talk about all. But from the one that I use, I'm most happy with the interface of Bondster from my perspective as an end client, because it's just very useful and intuitive. So it's good.
Great.
It's good to work with that.
Great to hear that.
Just important that you inform us on the updates when the pages update.
I will this to IT guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, so enough of that. Maybe one direct question. IBANCAR, you still work with spreadsheets, or you use the API meanwhile?
Well, I don't know at the moment. I think they, as we talked last time about the API, I told my IT department that IBANCAR should be the first one to join us through API, because we talked about that. And I'm pretty much convinced they did. But I don't know whether they use it at the moment. I think they do, because they already published some loans, but I can't say at the moment, but like by heart, whether they are using API or not.
Okay, I will ask his question, Alex, next week, and then you can watch the interview,
and
then his experience and his perspective, and maybe you can improve it. Yeah? So he's more happy to publish a loan on Bondster, because for me, I would prefer to have them on Bondster and not on IUVO, for example. Sure. Because mainly I do the investments here, and that's also closer to come here in case. Yeah. I like this closer distance. At Bondster to Vienna from Prague. Okay, but now let's change to another topic that's maybe not so popular, and maybe you are not so happy to talk about it, but I think it's important, especially for the investors that watch this interview that are long-term in the industry. And I think meanwhile, time flies by. Yeah? And we had this topic with RapiCredit, for example. Yeah, it was a long story. Maybe you can summarize it. We had a call, a very transparent call, but confidential about it also in January. But maybe you can summarize everything, and also the outcome and the whole story.
Okay. Firstly, maybe I would say it's not about if the topic is popular or not. I would say it's a topic that should be addressed. I have no problem with addressing it. When we are talking about that, we know that it's investments into loans. They sometimes went to default. You have to solve it. So it's about the way you solve it and so on. So that's like kind of precondition to this kind of discussion. Anyway. What happened with RapiCredit in the very early stage was they were reporting us the installment. Some of them were not recognized by our system as paid, which in the amounts, or let's say in the number of loans that were from RapiCredit on our platform, they didn't catch it. We didn't catch it. That some of them are not marked as paid, and there was the delay in days that was started to count, and when it hit 60, we reported them, okay, let's buy back this portfolio, we need the money. So first few buybacks, and we are talking, and we just in our last article on blog, we just wrote that it was something like 1.7 million euros at that moment. And we asked them, let's send 200,000 euro for buybacks, and it was like rolling, and before we discovered that it is this kind of mistake, because a lot of, let's say, huge part of their portfolio went into buyback, but they were reporting us the installment. So originally the end debtor was paying, and we asked to RapiCredit to repay the whole loan, all the rest of the loan. So that was the origination of this whole problem with RapiCredit. So I am saying that it was like partially on our side, partially on their side. It was some technical mistake. We didn't discover fast enough to get in this kind of spiral that their whole portfolio started to be buyback, and they didn't have the funds for that because these loans were properly paid.
Okay, so just to summarize it, there was the borrower paid his rate.
Yes.
But the problem was that
they
communication
reported,
report problem on both sides,
yes.
Some thought. It was reported that it is not paid.
Yes.
And then they would have
we in our system we calculate the delay with the installment, and when it hits 60, we ask RapiCredit to buy back. Yeah.
And then you recognize it like later because it was about 60 days, so 2 months, and then some time to recognize it, and then you found out this problem.
So RapiCredit get paid one installment, and there were like, for example, 10 future installments. So, and when we asked for a buyback, we asked for the whole
loan,
loan. So that was the problem.
And it was also a much higher default rate than in reality.
Yeah.
Because just of this reporting problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I think we all understand the problem, the beginning of the problem, and now.
Yeah. So it was that 1.7 million euro at that moment. We had a lot of discussion with RapiCredit, with their top management. Also, 2 people from RapiCredit came from Colombia to find the mistake. So we had like a week here in this meeting room, searching for where it came from. That's where we came with this where it came from with this origination. And to the end of 2022, RapiCredit repaid by not by regular installments, but by money transfer that they were able to send us nearly 1.1, not 1.1. On the 1st January, the remaining debt to investors was like 900,000 euros. So 800,000 euro they repaid through 2022. I'm sorry, and in the beginning of 2022 we had some meeting, and I said that we need to have some regular payments, some installment schedule. So we made an installment schedule which should be finished on the end of June, because
sorry, are you talking about 2023 or 2022?
Beginning 2023.
Because before you mentioned, I think 2022.
Yeah, because the debt 1.7 million started in 2022.
Yeah.
And it was 1.7 million, and the January 2023 we were on 900,000.
Yeah. Okay. Just the.
Yeah. And I wanted some installment schedule. We agreed on it. We made it. Like officially through our communication. We agreed on that, and let's say RapiCredit was complying with that, but not so. Not in 100%. So they were late a bit. They made a lot of they send a lot of money. Right now we are something like 200,000 is resting. They are sending on a weekly basis 25,000 euro. So and it's a regular payment for like last 4 months. So we are getting for our investors 100,000 euro per month with this speed, including the payment of interest. They will probably pay like 2 or 3 months more, and everything will be covered. What I have to say, very positive thing, because we were talking about like right now about RapiCredit like in a negative way. What I see, like I see two negative things that with RapiCredit. One is that they didn't comply like in 100% with the installment schedule, but we can say again that I am more happier that every investor gets 100% back with all the interest than rather to keep with the installment schedule like 100% and there will be some problem with their financials. And the second positive thing I see is that every investor gets the money back with interest, which is in I think 99% of the loans is 17%. So yes, I admit it is a problem. It is not a comfortable situation. Yes, I admit that it is some kind of limitation of the liquidity of your portfolios, but the yield is the best probably you can get on the P2P market, 17%. Maybe I know that there are some 18% loans on some other platforms, but they get 17%.
RapiCredit.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And so you can get 17%. You're limited with the liquidity, definitely a bad thing, of course. But from the other point of view, we got all the financial data from them on a quarterly basis. We were checking it. I was in connection with the management. I was assured that everything will be paid, and also for, let's say, really from February, from the first week of February, we got 25K every week. So after like few weeks they pay. I think I knew that it will be okay, and that's why we didn't start any legal activities, because I did my collection history for 14 years. I'm a very experienced collection guy. I used to be a head of collection department in a bank and so on, and I know, and who is familiar with these processes knows that going to court, then to kind of execution or something, it's very long-term journey, and the more when it will be a Czech company in Colombia, of course. So the legal process will be much longer. We can see it in Poland, and it's our neighbor country. We have our Polish lawyer there, and in Mikrokasa and Speedcash, you know, it's still working. And there is no decision from the court. Still, they are still.
I want to ask you about that anyway in the next question.
Yeah,
because I'm still waiting for Mikrokasa money.
But what I wanted to present on that is that if we are talking that the debt in let's say May 2022 was 1.7 million euro, we are now in August 2023, we are like 200,000, getting 25K every week. Everything is distributed to investors. We are not charging any fees from that or something for the collection of it. So then I see it as a very successful case from my perspective. I, of course, understand how hard it is for the investors to understand this and to be patient. But from my point of view, with all the cases I saw, this is a very successful case.
There are always different perspectives, and I want to comment on this and exchange on that, and I'm not sure if you can comment on everything, but I want to try to summarize, and I'm just a simple investor and client, you know, and I'm also not so skilled in English, yeah, but I try my best to summarize it and my thoughts and my perspective, yeah. So there are some negative and some positive things I want to mention at that, and also maybe you can comment afterwards. First of all, okay, I understand the problem that happened, but then is a part that I don't understand, and I want to mention that, yeah, because the part is, okay, they could not pay it back because the money was still in the loan, and so there was no reason to buy back it. Okay, and then they didn't have the money for the circulation, which makes for me, as I understand it, sense, yeah. But then the loan had a certain time frame for the repayment, for the rates of the borrower, And when they get the money, they should have been able to pay back the loan because it's connected. The loan, for me as an investor, is connected to the borrower. So they made something different with the money, with my money. In the meantime, this is what I see very critical. We can call it however, but for me this is not trustworthy, this is not reliable, and this is not complying with the contracts. Yeah, so this is a big issue, which is now in your summary not really. I didn't hear it in your summary, but maybe I put everything in one summary and then positive and negative, and then you can comment on it. But I think we should talk about this because it's about reputation, also from Bondster. Of course, it's RapiCredit, and you just try to handle it for sure. Yeah, and then we're coming to the next part I want to mention and summarize. I had to wait very long until my RapiCredits got paid back, but I guess it is because because of the time frame when I invested in the loans. Mm-hmm. But maybe you can also comment on that. Mm-hmm. Because I had to wait very long, but now most of them are repaid, mm-hmm. which makes me very happy. And this is the final part. So let's go to the positive side at the end of this summary from my side. From my perspective, I was of course critical, and I was a bit worried in the meantime. Yeah, you know it. I called you on that issue. But at the end, I have to agree with the outcome now, mm-hmm. yeah, that it probably was the best job you could have done as a platform, mm-hmm. from my perspective now. Yeah. Okay. Why? Because I got the 17% on the whole time frame, as I understood it. Yeah. Yes. So it was a good investment at the end, and I couldn't even have found another investment with 17% maybe. Allende loans, yeah, but sure. Not always available on Bondster. So at the end, it was the best outcome, and I even received more money than if it would have been paid back immediately. Yeah. But yeah. And of course, what I also want to mention, if you would have sued them, I think it was the good decision to find a way to avoid it, because then we would wait for that still, and we would have to pay for that. We would not get the 70%. Yes. So this is the positive part, but I still would like to hear on their behavior.
Yeah. Why we had the installment schedule till June was that the last installments of those loans of this portfolio was probably mid-May 2023. So that's why I made this installment schedule to the end of June, so they can collect this money from their debtors and they can be sent. So when we made that installment schedule, I was pretty happy with that agreement, because I think it was fair for both sides. Let's say for all three sides, also for the investors, I mean. But when I was a little bit, let's say, I'm not going to say angry or...
Okay, now one camera is gone, but I think the iPhone is still recording.
Okay.
Maybe we should mention that. Sorry for the distraction. Yeah.
Okay.
I used the first time the GoPro for an interview, so I have no experience on that. And the camera I usually use for interviews, for the 4K interviews, is in Spain in my apartment. Okay. But I was in Vienna now, so for the cost it would not have made sense to go just to Spain, pick up the camera and come back to Prague. So we have to improvise a bit. So also sorry for the sound, might not be that good, but I think important is the content. We value a lot from your side.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So, and as I wanted to say, I got a little bit upset with RapiCredit, and I think they knew at the moment was firstly when they started not to be 100% compliant with the installment schedule was one thing, and the second part was when we had our last meeting. It was like mid-June, so it was the end of the installment schedule, and I asked them, okay, so I expect you repay the rest, not to continue with the installments, but you will repay the rest because you got all the money. And if I should be 100% honest and transparent, I didn't get the answer on this question you have. So where is the money? Why the money, which is investors' money, and all 100% funded loans are repaid back to you, or let's say some part of it is in collection, but it's a part of the buyback guarantee. Why the money is not on the investor side? So I didn't get the answer, and every information I go with right now can be a speculation. Of course, we can say a lot of speculation because they are growing quickly, so there is some importance where to invest, because I don't think that these guys are kind of like frauding the money, that they are buying Ferraris. I don't think that they do this, but so they are. I think that they are investing it into business. Anyway, it is not fair with you investors, because you invested into particular loan. When it was repaid or should be buyback, it should be repaid to you or should be buyback.
It's not complying to the contract.
Yes.
So whatever it is,
yes.
Okay. But it's their reputation,
Yes.
and
Yes.
we are both upset about this. So I think, we have the same opinion at the end.
Yeah, and the second part of your question was the timing. So pretty briefly is that we are repaying the oldest buyback. So if within that frame of 1.7 million euro we're one of the last buying loans from RapiCredit, then you are the last who will get repaid. So that is this. We are also thinking about changing the matching of payments in these cases on some proportion method. So each investor will get something, some little something, every payment we get, but it is a huge change in the system. So we have to be very careful when changing it. So if this kind of situation appears in the future, then probably we will treat it a different way when sending money back to investors, not from the oldest one, but like proportionally by investors' exposure. But that's a question.
It's okay. I think I can also understand the way that you just make it by the date you invested in it. Makes sense for me. We can also exchange about that as like on everything in the comments. I'm always curious about the opinion of the audience as well. If I look at my portfolio, RapiCredit is meanwhile a minor part of the, I would not call it defaulted. It's maybe also interesting because I have nothing in defaulted, but I have a lot in 60 days plus. So I don't know why you don't call, for example, Mikrokasa defaulted, but maybe I should see it positive because you expect Mikrokasa to be paid back one day and not default.
Yes.
Is it correct? And then I would also ask you maybe in this question, another unpopular and unhappy question, but Mikrokasa, I'm waiting for a lot of money from Mikrokasa. You see it here on my screen because I opened right now the Bondster portfolio. There is some money I'm waiting for,
Both Mikrokasa and Speedcash, both are in restructural regime in Poland. I get like monthly updates from our lawyer we hired in Poland. And at this moment for Bondster it's only costs. I can say we are paying for the lawyer. He's attending the meetings on court. He's sending the letters if there is some question for us. But it is still on the road, and I can't let's say give some forecast about time. I was talking to our lawyer to hear some forecast about money.
Yeah, this is also what I wanted to ask you next. Can we expect at least a part of it? Can we expect the full amount? Can we expect even the interest return on the whole time frame? Maybe you can give some ideas. Of course, you don't have the crystal ball, but
what we expect that it won't be so happy by this time. We talked about something like 30% we expect from Mikrokasa and maybe less, a little bit less from Speedcash. Both companies are in the same restructuring regime. So that is something what we see now, what are the assets and what are the debts of the company, so where we can go. There is still the question, and we were unfortunately not able to break it, that we are not you investors, because we are representing you. We are not a normal equity creditors. We are. We should have. You bought a debt, so it is not about assets of the company and the debts of the company, because you are not a creditor in a particular way. And we try to do it through some other cases. We try to claim the criminal case against the statutory body of Speed Cash at that time, to change the perspective of the Polish court system on our debts, and it was not possible. So we are still, as other creditors, waiting how when they sell the assets, how it will be distributed to all the creditors. So all the investors are in a position of a creditor. Even the contract says that it was a debt sale, unfortunately. So I can't predict the time frame.
Like I'm a shareholder that treated, and not like a...
Yes. So I can say that I can't give you a time frame, because I can't say when the court will make a decision, the final decision that this creditor will get this amount, and so on and so on. It will be some future, hopefully months, but maybe years can be, really. I have experience from Czech courts, and these kind of procedures can take really 4 years. It's no problem in Czech Republic, so I expect the same in Poland. But to the some expectation or forecast of the money, I don't think you guys will be very happy, because it will be like 30-25%. We are talking about some expectation right now.
This is disappointing, but on the other hand, we have to say at the beginning we got a lot of Mikrokasa money back. It was okay, and then
but there was the difference, because Mikrokasa had like two parts of portfolio. One was under this restructuring regime. It is still frozen from the very beginning.
But this is an insolvency of the company.
Yes,
yeah?
yes. But there was a part of the portfolio that was not under this regime, because before they fell into this regime, after they fell into this regime, they had to repay, because this part of portfolio didn't went into this insolvency regime. So they were able to repay it somehow. It was my early days here, so I'm not so familiar with that.
Not easy to take over at this time.
And when I came, I remember that there was a part of Mikrokasa portfolio. It was normally repaid, so they paid in installments, and the rest was under the insolvency or restructuring regime.
Okay, so how I understand it, and my experience and learnings from that incident, are that in general, obviously, the Polish legal environment seems to be questionable. That's what I hear from that as an investor perspective. I experienced it also on other platforms and several times. Yeah. On the other hand, there are some operating still in Poland profitable and without any problems and good return. And also I understand that it's very questionable that the Polish courts say that we are to be treated like shareholders and not like creditors. So that's the way I understand it. Yeah? Because as a creditor, I would be paid first because I have an obligation. And I'm not part of the insolvency because I have to be paid first. This is what a bond is always about. This is the advantage of a bond. And not being equity shareholder. So in my opinion, the Polish law and legal system and law court
failed.
But it's just what my personal opinion on that. Maybe I'm wrong. But
my personal opinion is really the same, because you as an investor bought the debt from the end debtor, and he should be from the law perspective. He should repay directly to you. If you bought the whole debt, if you're not partially in the debt, if you bought the whole debt, then the money from the debtor should be transferred directly to you. So you should be covered in 100%. But in this case, Polish law and Polish court did it that it is when the debtor pays it, it goes back to the company, and you are treated as a
shareholder.
As a shareholder.
Equity.
Say, yeah.
Okay, good. But however, we covered it now, and let's maybe move to the next topic. Otherwise, it will be too long interview, and even my iPhone might stop the record. Okay, Mikrokasa we have. Limezaim I have as well on my list. I have not so many loans of them, luckily, because I sold most of all Belarusian, Russian and Ukraine loans. Not because of the war, it was already after my visit in Belarus, but it was just a personal experience. After that, I decided, okay, I stopped all investments in Russia, Belarus and Ukraine. Later, it turned out that it was not the worst decision, and I don't want to comment anything about the war and the catastrophe and everything. It's a different topic, of course, suffering people and so on, but just from the investor's perspective, again, because this is the topic of this interview, Lime. I'm still waiting for the money, and I don't want, I want it back, so whatever is the geopolitical situation.
The situation is that in the very beginning of our negotiations, we were asked if we can accept ruble as a payment from Lime. We were not. Czech banks refused to accept ruble and change it to euro. That's why in November 2022, I had a very interesting and adventurous journey to Belarus.
You as well?
To Minsk, yes. But it was when the war is already taking place, so it was...
So maybe even different to my experience.
Yes, I have very, very funny stories about the visit. It was a really adventure.
Maybe we can make this as a bonus
at
the end of the interview.
Yeah,
we can edit because I would be curious about it.
With like a few hours interview in the custom office and so on and so on. So it was really funny. And nevertheless, we opened a bank account. We had agreement with the Belarus bank that they can accept ruble for some small fee. They can change it to euro and send it to us. We also tested the way because at that time we had a Belarus loan originator that send us money into Belarus bank. We send it to Czech Republic. Everything was working. So we came to Lime, back to Lime, and said, okay, you can start paying because we have already the bank account. And then they came that we need that debt agreement for their like money transfer office they have in Russia. So they offered some conditions that they are still ready to sign with us, but I can definitely say that they are not okay for you guys, for all the investors. As a representative of you in these negotiations, I think I'm pretty much able to discover what is good and what is wrong. Maybe there can be some voting of the investors if they want to go with that. But there were things like the same that they will convert the debt to ruble and they will repay it in the installments and it will be in a ruble exchange rate. So if the ruble goes because of war 100 euros up or down, it will be your risk.
It depends in which direction.
Yes, it will
but
be.
The risk is not what we expected when we made the investment.
Yes, it will be your risk. There will be no interest during the period of repaying it in installments, and so on and so on. If the sanctions fall down, there will be like 5 years installment repayments, and so on and so on. I refused it. I just had a call with the CFO. I explained him, representing you, why we see this as a not a good clauses. Of course, there were several. We accepted. We just came to negotiate, and until that time, we were not able to reach any agreement. And also, I can say that I feel it a little bit of that our motivation is much bigger than Lime's, if I can say it like this. On the other way around, I feel that Russian companies, when they are audited to issue Russian bonds, if they have debts to not friendly countries, they are recognized as a zero at this moment, and so on. So inside Russian Federation, the debt to European Union are recognized as they don't exist. So I think they have a lot of instruments, how to make it longer and so on. So maybe if we agree on the terms and conditions they offered us, maybe they will start to pay, most probably. But there's a question how much it will be at the end, because there is the 10 million ruble monthly limit for all the creditors. We know that Mintos also has some payments done. If they're under these conditions, it is pretty risky, but they get, of course, some money. And at this moment, we are searching for some legal solution. We have, of course, some people in Russia. Lime Russia is having this mother company in Cyprus, so we are kind of like examining right now the best legal action to go with. Maybe there is on the table, and we will ask all the investors whether they agree or not about the debt sale. We are also thinking about debt sale possibility if there is some collection agency in Russia that will be able to buy the debt, for example, for 50%. If you, as an investor, will agree to get 50% at the moment, or wait how it will be with them. So that's the situation at the moment. We are examining what are the possibilities. If we are if we come with something, we need some agreement from the investors. Then we will come to you guys, and we will ask you about whether you agree or not.
I understand it's a big topic, and of course we couldn't expect it when we made investments, because we all know what happened in the world in the meantime.
To be pretty fair, imagine a situation that, for example, we are in Czech Republic. Let's say, or your assets abroad will be seized, will be taken, and your government here will tell you you're not so very much obliged to pay your debts into those countries. I will be very, very curious how many companies will decide to be very happy and pay everything on time. So I understand, of course, where I am, what side in this battle I'm on. But of course, maybe I can a little bit think that they are using the instruments they have, of course.
Yeah, very difficult situation, of course. And as you said, maybe to summarize, the problem is we cannot put a lot of pressure on them, because if we sue them in Russia, I think it will be like zero expectation. Because the fact what it is currently in the current geopolitical situation. But I did not know that they have the holding in Cyprus. Maybe you can sue in Cyprus.
That's what we are examining. And I don't want to put a lot of information about that, because maybe some strategic decision like this can be.
Okay, we will see what happens on that. But interesting story to learn as well, maybe to mention it like that. This is also the reason why we make diversification. So for us, it is also an experience. Otherwise, we could put everything in one loan originator on one platform, and we wouldn't need to think about diversification, risk, and all that stuff. Okay, but maybe now we come back to happier topics from my side as an investor. Also for you as a CEO of Bondster, I guess. I'm, as already said, currently increasing a lot my allocation on Bondster, and we have higher returns on most other platforms. if you name it, like Allende, Righteous, ITF, Credit Phase, and so on, are currently offering 16 to 17%. So we have even a variety to diversify on higher return. What can we expect regarding returns and loan offers from your perspective in the next future? New loan originators we can expect, which return? Yeah, maybe you can give some information on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. I think that like 17%, maybe some of the loan originators, maybe you will talk with Marketa. We are planning some promotional actions. So some of these 16-17% return loans will be with some cashbacks and some promotion. From the long-term perspective, if of course the inflation and European Central Bank funding costs will go higher, then of course the return will have to rise and will be higher. But honestly, I also have to admit that we didn't use it anytime at this moment on the higher level, but we also are kind of limiting the return, let's say from the minimum, but also the maximum. So we don't want here any loan originator with, for example, 22% return, because we would find it pretty risky. And so that's why we are, even if it is a marketplace, like a free marketplace, we are still kind of governing some minimal parameters of the loans. So that's to this. So I think that if no economical change will appear, I think we will be around this 17% maximum. And to the future, we are what the biggest loan originators at the moment is Right Choice Finance, really, and very strong financial group, communicative. Really, I don't have anything to say about them in a bad way. And from the new ones, I would probably say JetCar, which probably your friend won't like so much from IBANCAR, but JetCar also is a pretty growing loan car company with high returns. So this is probably one of the bigger future loan originators on Bondster. Of course, we have a lot of new ones like Hummel, Credit Phase from Peru, and these growing platforms, growing loan originators. But they are not so big that you can easily diversify with them, because when they publish, let's say, 100,000 euro, it's pretty fast sold, and not a big opportunity to invest.
Maybe talking about JetCar, but it's not really competition. I think it's Alexander Melis and IBANCAR, because they are operating in Kazakhstan, not in Spain and not in Mexico.
But the competition on the marketplace of Bondster,
Talking about that, I have to mention, maybe, I think this is not confidential because it's obvious, they are much more active on IUVO. This is the reason why I have to still stick to IUVO as well. Also, they are not like that close to Vienna, and I cannot just crash the office whenever I like to, because Sofia is a bit different story to travel there. But also this is a different story, for example, with JetCar. Because if I have an issue with IBANCAR, I never had one so far. Fingers crossed it keeps like that, because there can always happen something, and it can the the experience can change very fast as investor. Yeah, we all had these issues on other loan originators and platforms, so we all know that. It could also happen with IBANCAR, of course. But for me, it's a different story because I was like driving to Fuengirola to the headquarters like 20 minutes. Now they are in Malaga, 40 minutes drive, but it's a different story to Kazakhstan. Yeah, and it's the same with Bondster. So, however, they are more active on IUVO. I would prefer to have them more active on Bondster. Yeah, closer to me again. Yeah. Alex told me, but the problem is that there is not so much funding from the investors on Bondster. What is your idea? How could we change that maybe? Well, I have an explanation as well from my perspective. Maybe I'm completely wrong because I'm just the end client, so I don't know about all this background information you know and Alexander knows and so on. But the difference is when I invest on Bondster, how do I do it? I go into the offers, then I go into the filter, euro, I filter to buyback, and then I go on sort by interest rate. Yeah, and then I have like 17% Allende if it's a good day. Now I'm waiting for a long time already for Allende loans. Yeah, then I have like ITF, I have right choice and so on, but I will not come to IBANCAR. So I guess this is an explanation maybe why it's not so active on Bondster from the funding. And the other one is if you are on IUVO, there is no competition because they are like one of the highest. Sure. But maybe you have some special promotion or something that we can still promote them on Bondster.
We have some agreement. I think Marketa will talk about that again. Some promotion, maybe some cashbacks, some interview with IBANCAR management and so on. So we try to support all of our loan originators, of course. But again, it's with these let's say lower return, and I don't mean they have lower return, but lower return in comparison with the highest ones. I think it's a matter of diversification, and I still think that they can be funded, and I still recommend to all the investors not to invest to only the high return things, but to diversify, because we have one of our investors from Czech Republic who is with us from the very beginning. He's diversifying really widely, and let's say, for example, after COVID, he said that his portfolio, even he was with the Mikrokasa and with these Polish loan originators, that his return from average 12.4 was 11.8 or something. So he lost like 0.6% of a return when 6 of the Polish originators fell in the COVID and went defaulted. So from that perspective, the diversification, so investing also into IBANCAR loans is from Spain, it's a different region, different jurisdiction than Kazakhstan and so on. So it makes a lot of sense even if the return is lower. From my perspective, 100%.
I 100% agree on that. Also, as, from my perspective as a private investor, but everybody's doing everything on his own risk, so no recommendation anyway in such an interview. But I guess the audience knows that already. Otherwise, they wouldn't watch such a long interview. It's only for the hardcore investors, I guess. But I agree. I think it's more an issue of making them more popular on the platform. This is what I wanted to say with that. Of course, me myself, I always check IBANCAR with a special filter because I know them and I want to invest them. And if people now write again in the comments, you're a fanboy of IBANCAR. Well, yes, I like them. Yeah, there is a reason because I know the people behind, and that's just human. I think that you. On the long term, I'm now also for some years in the industry that you get to know people and then you prefer that, of course. I know the team in Bondster. Yes, I prefer them. Sure, but this is just my personal opinion, and I might be wrong.
Maybe one recommendation I can say is that even I'm here nearly 3 years as a CEO. Last few weeks ago, I got kind of a hint or good advice from one of our big investors that when he's setting up an autoinvest, He's not making the diversification inside the autoinvest, even that there is the functionality. You can just play with the percentage of the loan originator. But he's setting up autoinvest for each loan originator.
I do the same.
You do the same.
Yeah,
okay, great.
Absolutely,
Okay, perfect. So maybe your audition is probably well advised from you that this is the good way to handle.
I don't know if I put it in the video, because I have to honestly say, first of all, I come here as a private investor. Yeah, you know, I don't make this like for affiliate or something. This is minor for me. Yeah. I'm here first of all because I have questions, and I record it because I think it's a value for all of us, including me again, because we exchange in the comments.
Sure.
So this is my perspective, and I'm not sure if I made a video about that, but I think it's
this
a good
can
hint.
be this can be when you also want to invest into IBANCAR or loan originators that are having lower return, but they are part of your diversification strategy. So you can do it this way. So you can set up auto invest for each of the loan originators.
But currently I deactivated that. Why? Because I'm so active on Bondster. To be honest, I log in usually 3 times a day or 4 times a day, and I just screen every time myself the market, because I want to pick it manually, really each loan currently.
Sure.
Maybe it's not useful, and maybe it doesn't make sense, but that's the way I do it currently. If there comes a time when I'm not so active again, then I might set the auto invest again on each loan originator. So I still have them, but I deactivated it for the moment. So I think coming to the end of the interview, maybe 2 more questions. The first one, you are very much informed about the industry, obviously, because you are as well in the P2P and in the Fintech industry with this business here, and also in the loan business in general. Maybe just at the end, summarize important news in the industry, important news at Bondster. What should we expect? Maybe, everything we did not cover so far. Maybe you can put it now in this part of the interview.
I think the main topic, I think for most of the platforms at this moment, from the, let's say, regulation point of view, are the licenses. We're also right now under the process of getting a crowdfunding license in Czech Republic under Czech National Bank. Even if we are still asking Czech National Bank whether our business model is under this regulation or not, but as I've said, like many interviews before, and we are still solid with this, is that we will definitely need some license, even if it will cover only from the reputational point of view. We are negotiating with the companies that are dealing with these licenses. So at this moment, we are just really few steps before getting into the process.
Which license? The crowdfunding?
The crowdfunding license, yes. We were considering the brokerage firm license as well, but at this moment there is no business case we have on the table. So we will probably work on that, and if we had the business model like this, we will go for the because the crowdfunding license is something like a smaller license, and the brokerage firm is like the biggest maybe probably.
Yeah. Okay.
On this kind of business model we have.
So I want to connect to that, because then I have some questions that might be important for myself, for my investment scenario. When we talk about regulation, first of all, which kind of license do you currently have with Bondster? Maybe you can relate to that. Then, follow-up question, can we expect anything, or is there any danger that there might be a regulation in Czech Republic, like it was, for example, in Latvia, that you have to obtain a certain license, which could also be a problem for the operation of the platform? I think this is very important, because it's a platform risk again we should take care of. If there is something we should expect, or if there is something you are expecting, or what, you know what I mean? This topic. And the third topic, you are talking about this brokerage license, you are talking about the crowdfunding license. We could also talk about the electronic money banking license. This is what I was talking about with Martins Schulte, CEO from Mintos. And also, this is an advantage, I think, a huge advantage, that you can still offer this direct loan investment, which, for example, Mintos cannot do any longer, as I understand it. Maybe, you know, I might be wrong in something, but how I understand it, my idea of the industry in the moment. And now they only have these notes, but usually, well, some of them with a lower return. I cannot say it for all, because they had, for example, also this 18% RapiCredit or something. They have Credit Star with 17.5 currently. But, you know, maybe you can cover this topic.
Yeah. So at this moment, Bondster as a company, as an entity, has a license for money transfer, or like a small money transfer license. We can translate it like this. But it is because of history of the company, because they need it for some business before Bondster was started up. So because so the entities still have the license, but we are not reporting the Bondster business to Czech National Bank under this license, because we are not under this kind of regulation, because we are not doing any money transfers.
So no regulation at the moment.
So at the moment, zero regulation.
Okay.
Under the Czech law. What we are at this moment is the crowdfunding license, as I said, and there is a
No, we have been distracted.
Yeah, I was distracted a little bit. So sorry,
room.
guys. Someone came into the meeting room. So back again. The crowdfunding license under what Czech National Bank explained is for the pure crowd lending or crowdfunding platform.
Equity.
Yeah. So when the end debtor is the other side, on one side, and the investor on the other side. So at the moment, it is not like this on Bondster. There are already funded loans by the originator that are offered to the investors. So that's a little bit different.
Finance the loan originator.
So we are marketplace. We are not crowdfunding at the very best of explanation. So we are not under this regulation. What we thought and think by our law firm that was explaining us the Czech National Bank statements. But we see that if the regulation didn't cover our business model, it doesn't mean that in the future it will not happen. So most probably it will happen that they can change one article, and marketplaces, platforms will be under this if they are not at the moment. So we sent official question to the Czech National Bank describing our business model in 100%, asking, are we obliged to have this crowdfunding license or not? We think that we are not. But we will still definitely go under this process to have it, but we want to know how is it right now. And also, if the market at the moment says that in Czech Republic there are also marketplaces that are not covered, that probably should be covered, because we feel that we mean it. We are seriously with the business here. We want to be here in the future. And also for the market environment, we think that if it's a healthy regulation, then it should be here. Because the risks I see is that if this business is not regulated, then there is no exchange between the platforms. Then you, as a loan originator, can go to 10 platforms, get 10% of your loan book funded on each platform, and you can open. You can open the gates of your underwriting process and your scoring rules, and you can give money to anybody, and the only impact it will have will be to your investors. And so this is why I see that this kind of regulation is needed. And even if Bondster is not at the moment under this regime, I think it will definitely be in a few months or years. And as I've said, even if the answer from Czech National Bank will be that yes, you are under or not, we will apply for the license. We are undertaking steps at like few weeks. I had several meetings about that. It's only about timing. Of course, if Czech National Bank says you have to, it will be pretty fast to get it as soon as possible. If not, then we will go through the process of licensing. Definitely, yes. So that's to cover the question about where we are, and of course you've asked about the potential risk. We checked about this crowdfunding license and comparing it if we are under it, if it will limit somehow our business, and it will not. We will have to be, for example, more transparent with description of our strategies that are next to the autoinvest, the let's say preset strategies by Bondster, more precise with explaining what they do, how they do it, but it will not limit our business model in any way. So when we are going under this crowdfunding license, if we don't have any other business case, like for the brokerage firm license, everything will stay the same. And I can say that at least like 1 year of our right now stabilization of some structural changes in the system, also like the front end changes, this crowdfunding license. I think it's a 3 huge projects demanding a lot of capacities, and still we are here in like a 10, 11 people team here, comparing it to 200 employees of Mintos. So I think we're still doing a great job with the team. So I don't think that we will go with any bigger changes in the next few months.
First of all, I think so too. Yeah, doing a great job. I can agree on that so far from my experience. But also, I want to be very concrete and dig into this. First of all, maybe about this financing of loan originators on different platforms. Yes, this is a topic. Of course, it's an issue. Once more, I think, well, there could always be fraud, but I think it's very transparent. Once again, for example, what IBANCAR is doing, because they put on their website as well each loan they finance. Mm-hmm. So it should be proof that it's just the one that is financed, and yeah, so it's more transparency than most other loan originators, or it's the only one I know that is doing that. But the other point I want to be concrete on is that, so as I understand you, we don't need to worry that the Czech Republic regulation will close Bondster from one day to the other.
Yes, definitely. Your summarization was 100% what I've said. I don't think it will change anything. The only change can be, as you said, if we go under the brokerage firm license, because there are different regulation and we have to think about what impact on the business model will it have. But at this moment, it's not on the table. We made a clear decision to go for the crowdfunding license at the moment.
And if the regulation in Czech might change from one day to the other, because we never know what happens, just thinking about it, we can expect that there will be enough time frame from them that Bondster can adapt to it and apply for the license. Yes. And you are prepared for that.
Yes, definitely.
And you always have this like in the monitoring.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And also what I've mentioned is that I think that Bondster business model is not under any license needed at this moment. And if some change comes, it will cover these marketplaces for the crowdfunding license. So we will probably have the crowdfunding license at the moment. So we will be completely prepared for anything. We will just start to report to Czech National Bank with what they need.
Maybe another, let's summarize it like that. Any other news, important information we should know as investors from Bondster, from the industry, from P2P, from loan business, from whatever, anything we should put in the interview right now?
Yeah. Not at this moment. just to summarize, maybe one thing. Last time we talked about we will be moving to other place.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
We have been in this area for lunch. I would appreciate it. It's a very nice area. Good vibes there.
Yeah. It's very nice, but also it's much more expensive, as this building should have been demolished, and the new flats should be here. And we have pretty good terms and conditions for our rent. And based on the economic changes, based on the conflict of Ukraine and change on the real estate market, and also the funding of retail people is not so easy. So the project was postponed. So maybe for next 1 year or 1 year and a half, we're still gonna stay here. And when the situation comes again, we will probably go maybe the place you saw, or maybe some other place. So until that time is this. Second is really the structural changes in the system, licensing of the crowdfunding license in Czech Republic under the Czech National Bank. I think these are like the three most important things that investors on Bondster should know at the moment, because there are no any other I'm aware of at the moment.
Okay, we have been talking about the office. We already made an office tour of this office, also of Axema 2 years ago. And before, when we entered through the third floor. And maybe it's important if somebody wants to visit you, because I think it's no problem. You are very transparent on that. And if an investor wants to come, he can come to the office.
Honestly,
but he should go to the third floor.
You should go to the third floor because we are a 10 people team. We don't have a reception desk here, but as our partner Axema has the big reception desk with two receptionists. So there is also a big logo Bondster, so they can cover your needs and call the relevant person from Bondster. And just a few notice or if you note that really few investors came here, make an appointment. Some didn't make an appointment, just ring the bell. Some of our team had a time for him and explain what was the need. So it's no problem to visit us. Our address, which is on our website, is this one, so you can find us pretty
I can prove it. This is the way I found it today with the taxi driver. That's really great. That makes a huge difference. I think if you know this is the address, everything is transparent. And for me, and of course everybody might have a different expectation, opinion on that and so on, also from the audience, but for me it's very important not only to see the interface on a website, which is of course important too, because it's the usability and everything, but for me it's important to know the people behind, to know the office, to have exchange with the team. This is for me important when I do investment, especially if it's from my perspective, bigger investment, as it is, for example, on Bondster right now again. And then we come back to the last question, but I think it's a very, very interesting question also for myself. When we are talking about investments, maybe first from my side, because I also made no video for a longer time, I increased currently again my asset allocation on P2P to about 10% of the portfolio. I also bought this apartment in Spain, which is also now, of course, part of the asset allocation as a real estate. I'm still, my main part is in the stock market, but if we compare the stock market, for example, to P2P, well, it's a completely different story, because what I like very much, and this is the reason I increase it again, maybe even more than 10%, you have an obligation, so you have kind of a fixed income, you know what the return is to be expected, at least if everything turns out as it should be. You have a very predictable cash flow. For example, for me, it's really part of the income. Meanwhile, part of the income is the interest return in P2P. And if you are with more than 100,000 in P2P, and I make no secret out of that, then it's like 1,000 euro and more a month. But let's come back from my person to your person, because you are much more professional in the industry. I would be interested, how are you investing your own private money currently?
Okay.
If you want to answer it. I don't know if you want to answer it, but I would be very curious about it. Because I think exchange, you can learn a lot by exchanging.
Sure. I would say let's say, a lot of my investments at the moment are in real estate, I have some flats, some piece of land, and the most expensive one, I would say, I'm just smiling because it's really like this, is because we are finishing a house. We already finished the house like itself, but right now there is the garden around and everything. So this is a lot of money investing into it, because it's our own. That's a place where we live with my family, with my 3 kids and my wife. So I'm not putting any more money into investments at this moment, like what you have asked for. But I would say, if I would say to these like shares, let's say shares of the whole portfolio. When I was pretty curious about what are like the types of investors, like from the most aggressive ones to the most conservative ones. At this moment, I won't talk about myself at the moment, because I have like these real estates and I have money on Bondster, so I'm not investing in stock market or crypto. I'm not in this at the moment, because really my real estates are something that has to be like covered, and the rest I have here. But I would say I was pretty much wondering that the conservative portfolio has almost 60 to 65% in fixed income investments, which I don't say that it should be 60% in P2P, because P2P is not the only fixed income investments. But when comparing both poles, so the aggressive investor has still something like 25 to 35% in fixed income assets. I can say that if you divide it with some bonds, you divide it with some P2P. So I would say that for the aggressive portfolio, it should be like from 5 to 15 in P2P.
That's approximately what I have.
Yes. The rest is because the aggressive investor portfolio is a lot of equity investments, of course, and the conservative one. I was really wondering that it is that much, that it is like 55 to 65 in fixed income. So then, if you really divide it again in some bonds, some other possibilities, but with bonds you can't that much control your liquidity. It's not that easy that with P2P. So in P2P with a conservative investor, you can have something like 30% of your portfolio in P2P. I'm not saying with one platform, but altogether P2P, which is quite a huge portion. And as I say, it's P2P at this moment, after this lot of years on the market, is not an alternative investment. So it should be really a part of your portfolio, even if you're the aggressive one or the conservative one, that it is really a part of, let's say, standard investor portfolio.
So something I want to relate to first on the recap. First of all, congratulations to your real estate investments, because it turned out, I think, to be a very good decision in the current situation. And I have to say the apartment in Marbella was also one of the best investments I ever did, but I didn't expect that at the moment. But obviously, also the COVID time was a good time to invest in real estate. So congratulations to that. Secondly, maybe recap on the P2P topic. So you are investing, just to get it right, in Bondster, also in the loans, not as an equity. So you're not shareholder of Bondster. Are you?
I have
something as a CEO.
I have something as a CEO, but what I was talking about is really a platform. So also I have something like it's not that much, but something like 300 euro in Lime, for example. So I'm not doing anything that I'm a CEO. So there's like 300 euro frozen in Lime loans, also for me, and so on. So yeah, I'm also an investor on Bondster as well.
Which P2P platforms do you use beside Bondster?
I'm not using, but very actively, but Estate Guru. But I think that they are not so. The investors are not happy at the moment with that. You are so the good that's good. But when I was also checking, these trust pilots reviews and so on, so I was pretty pretty shocked that I found Estate Guru as a very, very good platform. So yes, so I would say Estate Guru probably as a very good one at the moment, and P2P is I think a good one, but from the point of view of a competition to Bondster, I'm not blessing them that much. Yeah,
okay,
but as an investor, I would say probably these two.
Okay, maybe I want to recap on that as well, because I think it's interesting exchange. P2P I closed completely. I cancelled all my investments on P2P. We had some issues, yeah.
Okay.
But maybe I'm wrong on that, because sometimes you are wrong, sometimes you are right, yeah. But I was, as you have been saying, now we are sometime in the industry, and you make your experience, whatever you do. Yeah, you make experience, you learn, and I think this is important. Also for the ongoing investments, yeah. For me, I closed P2P completely. I was not happy with some transparency issues, and also with the move to Croatia and so on. Okay, but maybe I'm completely wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, just my personal opinion. On Estate Guru, it was a funny story, because I was always talking about the German loans, and I said for me they are bullshit. Yeah? For me, it's no investment in Germany. You can see it on the videos on my YouTube channel. It's online still, yeah. And people were making fun of me and said, you are again too critical, and no, they are the same like in other countries. And I said, no. If you analyze it, and if you look just on street view on the properties and so on, for me this makes no sense, this investment, yeah. And luckily I have very, very minor investment only in Germany, and so for me it was I still have a good portfolio there, and a good return, yeah, and very positive. So yeah, that's also an interesting story. But yeah, as you said, sometimes you are wrong, sometimes you are right. I was obviously, I think, right on group here.
Yeah.
Legendary interview, but I put it offline because there was so many rumors and about that and so on. I decided for myself to put it offline, but people from the industry know my interview, I guess, yeah. And my doubts about the group here, that was right. I was a bit wrong with Viventor, but only kind of wrong, because I think I was right, but yeah. I think it was a good platform in the beginning when I was invested in it, but everything changed with the change of the ownership. And this was a big learning for me, that if a platform is sold, this is also why I asked you this question today in the interview. If a platform is sold, everything can change. Yeah. Sure. So yeah, I lost some money on Viventor, but yeah, it's always a learning. But all in all, I was very profitable on P2P on the long term. So this is why I'm still in the industry. Last question, very last question. On Bondster, which loan originators do you invest in most?
As I have it, as I said, I don't have a huge portion of my money or a huge share of my money on here. I go for the higher interest ones. Yes. So there is the ITF, right choice, definitely what I have, and of course I am pretty much, and I would say Dana Rupia and these let's say higher return loan originators, and of course I am also a little bit maybe more informed, because I also know how the companies work. I talk to the CEOs and I see how flexible they are. So, for example, the Right Choice Finance, for example, was one of, I was really nicely shocked when we were solving some problem and the CEO was there, was ready to solve it, was communicative, like everyday basis, no problem to send us reports, money here, there. So, for example, I would really pick Right Choice as like my personal experience with the background is pretty positive. So I would say that this is really like trusty for me.
Yeah.
So yes, these and I would say all the loan originators that proved their way on Bondster, like 1.5 and more years, are good loan originators, because there is the there is the track record. You can know what you can expect at the moment.
Yeah, I agree partly on that. But yes, of course, the exchange also with the CEO is very important. That's the reason why I crashed loan offices myself as well. Go to IBANCAR, whatever.
So even if I include the RapiCredit, who was here a long time, long period of time, but you know, there was some problem, but right now, and I can say we are like 200,000 rest of the debt, but there is 1.5 million euro recovered with the interest for everybody of 17%. So at the end, again, I know that the situation was complicated. I 100% understand the point of view of investors, definitely. But at the end, again, it was not a loss. It was not a problem at the end. And it didn't take like 6 years to recover it and so on. So from my perspective, even RapiCredit had that problem. And I consider it as he was here longer term. Even this was proved by this.
It shows at least that there's a real business behind. But will you invest again in RapiCredit yourself?
I don't know whether they will come here back again, because it will be probably a negotiation from both sides, because we are not very happy about how things changed when they didn't reach the June deadline they set by themselves, and from the other way around, we didn't even speak whether they want to come back again. So this is a open question to discuss with them, and if they are here after all this, I would say yes, I will trust them, because if they repay everything, and that was their commitment, and I was assured several times about this, even last time we talked, that they will recover everything in 100%. So if they do this, I have no problem with investing in their loans in the future.
Yeah, the problem for me is they did not keep their promises. They have not behaved trustworthy. They haven't been reliable. So this is the problem I have with them, but never say never. So okay, but I think there is a certain point when we have to finish, otherwise my phone will be stopping. I hope it recorded until now. Will be stopping as well, but tomorrow I'm curious about the next interview, because I will ask Marketa, for example, the same question, how she invests her money. I'm curious about that, which loan originals she might pick, and we will also make a calculation on the huge difference when you, for example, the compounding 100,000 euro in 10% interest return and with 16% in monthly income, annual income, and maybe after 10 years. I think this is an interesting example. We will put it in the interview, and so looking forward to the next interview with Marketa, and thank you very much once more for your hospitality, the opportunity that we can just come here and talk to each other, because it was very spontaneous this time, because I had different plans, but then it turned out that this is a time frame I got through to tax issues with Spain and the 183 days regulation. So however, thank you and goodbye, and looking forward to further exchange in the comments. Thank you for watching.
I also thank you very much, because this is one of the way we can communicate with our investors. So great opportunity to answer them questions you probably guys have. So Thank you also very much, and probably see you next time on some video, maybe in Vienna.
Yes, maybe. Always welcome, always happy when you come to Vienna as well. And of course, this is maybe not the most popular interviews we do, like clickbait, because we are going into detail and I just ask like unprepared questions. But I think, at least for me, and I hope also for other people, you can comment on this as well. It's a lot of value if you are really interested in it.
Yeah. I think that for current Bondster investors, I think that these topics we are addressing should be very interesting because we are going into a lot of detail.
Yeah, I like to ask the details, to understand it myself, and I think it's also interesting to just talk about the industry. And,
Sure.
Okay, that's it. Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Goodbye from Prague.
Bye bye.